What's good, guys? This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer. In this video, I will be showing you some images I took this past weekend from a wedding, awesome wedding in the Bay Area, Ramon and Elizabeth. But I want to highlight and feature the 85mm 1.4 G lens and how special that lens is to me and my thought process and why and how I use it. Also, we will be unboxing this, a 3-in-1 card reader, USB-C card reader. Thank you, Katie from VTOP Shop company online. They sent me a 3-in-1 card reader to unbox, review, see if I like it. This is a Driver Genius 3-in-1 card reader, USB-C. Takes CF, SD, and micro SD cards. We'll also do a speed test. This card reader, USB-C, and also do a test with my Lexar USB 3 card reader, and we'll just see if there's any differences in upload or download speeds. And again, Katie, thank you for sending me this thing, and we'll do the unboxing now. But again, I want to thank the lovely couple. This past weekend, I was in San Jose, Bay Area. It was an amazing wedding. The same couple I did a behind-the-scenes pre-wedding photo shoot with. I'll put the link above in this video. I'll go over my thought process, why I took this picture, how I took it, lighting, and highlighting the 85mm 1.4G Nikon lens that I used for these particular images that I will be showing you today. But first up, let's open up this 3-in-1 USB-C card reader and let's download all those big raw files to my computer. Shall we? See what we got this time. All right, guys, right here. USB-C multi-card reader writer. This is a USB-C version. So I just got this delivered. We'll plug in my card that I shot over the weekend, upload the raw files. Before I get started on this fun video for you guys, if you have Instagram and if you like behind the scenes, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Vahagraphy, doing little stories. Elizabeth, the bride, is getting ready. You see here.
Hi.
Hey, rock and roll. Who's this? Oh, Bella.
Hey.
Hold on, no more, we gotta go.
If you have an IG account, I'd love to have you as a follower. All right, rock and roll. I want to thank Katie from VTOP Company for sending me this 3-in-1 Driver Genius card reader, USB-C card reader. All right, here's the card reader, scan code here for a 24-month warranty, and the instruction manual, which we probably don't even need. Here is the card reader itself. It's pretty nice. Feels solid. USB-C, baby. I don't have a USB-C reader, so this is good. Thank you, Katie. It feels solid. It looks solid. Here's the slot for the CF, the SD, and the micro SD. 3-in-1 USB-C card reader. The price is regular price at $30.99, but you save $5 at VTOP Shop online. That's VTOP.shop. VTOP.shop. This is a USB 3. We'll do a comparison speed test. Alright guys, so there's the card reader up close so you can see the slots for the cards. And let's get cracking. Let's start downloading some images. We'll be comparing it to this guy, Lexar. I've had this thing for years. One thing, the cable is not too long as you see here. So if you set it up on if you don't have a port on your workstation or wherever you're doing your editing or whatnot, and you're using, for example, an iMac like this one, the USB ports and the USB-C ports are in the back here. Cable is not too long, so it's going to be sticking out like this. Wish they would make that cable a little bit longer. Just mounted the CF card onto this card reader here. Okay, are we ready? That folder there into the desktop. There you go. USB-C card reader. We're doing 3.84 gigabytes, and that's really fast. Here is the Lexar USB 3 card reader. Same files. Wow, guys. Oh, wow. That is a big time difference. Oh, that's impressive. And it did it right under what, like 15 seconds or something? This one's taking way more time. Driver genius. Impressed me there, buddy. Okay, so obviously you guys are probably thinking, okay, well, this is USB-C, that's USB 3.0. True. And this is what you're paying for, basically. Now, do I wish this thing was longer, this cable? Yes, I do. Will this last you a long time? Given that this cable is thick and so short, and you need to bend it to connect it to any port, this might be a problem over the years to bend it. But, you know, like I said, or you can connect it in the back and just leave it extended like that. Me, I like connecting it to this computer, and I like bending it back so I can have the ports facing me at my desk. So in order to do that, you have to connect it this way. Alright guys, welcome. I loaded the images in the computer, opened up Lightroom, imported them in Lightroom. So I want to just quickly go over some images I took this past weekend, and I just selected a few taken with the Nikon 85G lens. Obviously, I use a bunch of lenses. I use a whole host of lenses when I'm doing wedding photography, not only the 85G. Primarily, I choose to use the 85G for bridal photos before the ceremony, and some candid shots during the ceremony. And pretty much that's about it. I have the 7200. I have wide angle lenses, 2470. Bunch of lenses that I use during the day. But I primarily reserve the 85G for those bridal photos. Fast 1.4 glass. But also it depends on the situation. How wide is the room we're shooting at? Where are we shooting at? It all depends on the situation. So I'm going to briefly just go over some images that I took that day. As you can see here on top here, 85 1.4 lens, Nikon. And by the way, good job on that card reader. Yep, driver genius, guys. Driver genius. Check it out. Very fast. Very impressed, guys. Very impressed with this unit. Doesn't cost very much. If you're looking for a really good card reader for not too much money, go for it. Check out their website, VTOP Company. Thank you, VTOP, for sending me. Okay, let me share some images here. First of all, bouquet photos. What I like to do, detail shots, basically. Well, first of all, I don't want to clutter the item that I'm shooting, that I'm highlighting in the image. So in this case, I'm shooting the bridal bouquet, right? First, I want to pick a nice backdrop, something plain, something simple. This classic chair was nice. I really like the color contrast between the bouquet here and the chair. Align the bouquet up very evenly and make sure the design here where the bride is going to be holding on to the bouquet is facing you. You never want to have that design behind there. So always be mindful of that. The flowers, try to align them up evenly here. So basically in this picture, I didn't want too much depth of field going on because there's a dimension here of these flowers. So what you want to do is, stop down your aperture here. I'm shooting it at 3.5. Natural light, nice window light coming in from the side. ISO 800, 3.5, 85 millimeter lens. So I want this part to be nice in focus. So, I focused right in here. So, to be expected, the handle of the bouquet is a little bit out of focus, which is nice. You don't want everything to be in focus, then it won't be a flattering, undimensional image. This is an example of shooting when you're not supposed to, meaning the videographer's doing his thing, and I'm on the side shooting whatever I see and what I think is nice. This is not posed. The videographer told the bride to go ahead and look at your dress, make sure everything is fine, this and that. I'm just shooting from the side. I have that nice window light coming in. Now, when you have this type of light, you want to diffuse it just a little bit. I'm using the window shades to kind of close it just a little bit so we could have some diffused light. This is a perfect example of making good use of your time here. Natural moments. Again, next clip here. You never want to have this part of the window sticking out on this part of the head. So always center the bride. Try to center in between these columns here. Just like the natural light, the colors here, her checking out her dress, great image, and make good use of your time. 85 here, again, I'm not all the way wide open. I'm at 3.5 here. Next image here, father comes in. I wanted them to share a special moment together, so I kind of, backed off a little bit and just shared, just captured this moment. You can shoot this with a variety of lenses. Father and daughter moment. You can shoot this with, a wide lens. I happen to have the 85 on here at 2.2, and just, her wishing her the best and this and that, capturing the moments with the 85 lens. Focus right here, and you look at the focus here that I'm getting from this 85G lens. See the sweat and all the little details from the father's glasses, and like that. It's beautiful natural light image. And by the way, these are all unedited. As you could see the sliders here, nothing has been touched. I'm going to make my adjustment. Yes, I am going to make my adjustment, but not right now. I just shot the wedding. Okay, here we have an example. Again, her putting on the earring. I just wanted some nice, casual, nice, soft, real moments captured here. Again, that amazing window light. Don't need flash. You don't need to bounce your light anywhere. Just be mindful that you don't burn the highlights here. Always look at the highlights here. 2.5 aperture, 85G lens, 2.5 aperture. Just look at that detail. Focus right on the eyes here. This beautiful bride, Elizabeth. So yeah, natural light, natural moment, 85G lens. Again, now incorporating the bouquet. Now this is a shot where, again, you can do your adjustments. Now when I do the final edit with this picture, I'm going to crop a little bit here. I kind of don't like this part, so I'm probably going to crop it. I took several of these images, so I might leave one full crop, full frame, and I might crop one. Having that natural light image focus right on the eye at 2.5 with this G lens. Just look at how crystal sharp that is. I mean, if you don't like the sharpness of this lens, the 85G, I don't know what you're looking at. But I'm focusing right on the eye, and either left or right. On this one, I'm focusing right on this right eye here. And to be expected, the bouquet is out of focus because I'm at a shutter depth of field at 2.5. If I was shooting this picture at like f5.6, f8, you'd get a little bit more of the bouquet in focus. However, you won't have this background blur. You won't have this going on with this out of focus. You won't have dimension in your image. So I rather, compromise here. I want that dimension. I want that depth of field, and I'll live with the bouquet being out of focus because the highlight of this portrait is her, not the bouquet. I pretty much really don't care about the bouquet on this picture. I care about the bride. And here's an example of having the same image, but having her not look at the camera. She's looking at the camera on this image, but on this next image, she's looking off to the side. Gives a nice portrait look to it, a different look. Again, I'm at 2.5, and here's the difference between her looking at the camera, smiling naturally. And by the way, you want them to smile natural. You want them to smile natural as possible. No fake smiles. Show the bride her portrait. Ask her what she likes. Does she like, because some brides, they might not like teeth showing. They might like teeth showing. This particular bride, beautiful set of teeth, nothing to worry about. And, I show her, some brides, they don't really like to look at themselves really smiling big. But take 2 or 3 different types of portraits. All right, moving on to the next image here. Again, another example of her smiling the way she was, looking at the camera, like this image. However, now she's looking off to the side. See the difference, guys? From this, Nice portrait, elegant, beautiful. But now I want her to look off to the side, eyes down a little bit. Every time you guide the bride to look down, they always move their chin down. Now in this particular pose, I didn't want her to put her chin down. A lot of the brides, half the time, if you tell somebody to look down, they look down with their heads and their eyes. So a quick way that I do it is just your eyes, look down, just, move just your eyes down, not your face. Leave your chin the way it is. Chin down, chin up, tilt your head, So there's an example of something different, looking off to the side. I wanted 2 or 3 variants of this portrait, of this pose. And, I wanted semi-smile, a little bit serious. I always tell the bride, smile big, semi-smile, smile slightly or serious, depending on the mood you want to capture with your photographs. And by the way, guys, this was a rush session here. Everything was rushed during this time. We were trying to make it to church. And what happened was they were running late. Makeup, hair, and, all the fun. And the hair and makeup was a little bit behind schedule. And it forced us to kind of rush this session before the church. So always let your hair and makeup or your coordinator know that the bride needs to be ready first. Before all the bridesmaids or moms or aunts, before the maid of honor is ready with their hair and makeup, the bride needs to be ready first. I don't know when they start with their hair and makeup in the morning, 7, 8 a.m. All you makeup artists and coordinators, stress to the bride that you want her to be done a little earlier than everyone else, because we don't want to be late with the pictures, and it's very important not to be late. I don't understand. Coordinators always tell me the bride wants to be fresh, but does the bride want to have pictures? So I understand the bride wants to look fresh, the freshest possible. Fine. But don't be the last one to be ready. This just kills the whole time we have, because we can't be late to church. You know what I mean? This type of images we can't duplicate this at the park setting or before, another location. You want to take these bridal photos in the bridal suite right before you go to the ceremony. So you can't replicate this somewhere else, photographers. Always stress to your bride never to leave her hair and makeup to the last second. Moving on here, here's an example of, different pose off to the side here. A little bit overexposed here, but, the important thing is you want to have everything you want to have her eyes in focus, guys. Everything else can be, adjusted. Yeah, I'm a little overexposed, but I like the fact that the 85G lens at 2.5, you're still having this beautiful background blur on the sides. Now, the reason why I'm not shooting this at 1.4, I wanted a little more in focus. Her nose, her hair, a little bit her mouth. I wanted that in focus. If you're shooting all the time at wide open, you're gonna miss details out of focus. Guarantee you, if I had this at 1.4, I would not have this ring in her hand in focus. So that's very important, guys. Take a few different ones depending on what you want to do. So this is a little overexposed. You want to just lower the exposure in Lightroom. Shoot raw, of course, and you can pretty much adjust the color temperature how you want. But this is key, guys. When you're shooting raw on location, try to get it closest to your liking as possible. Because if you shoot an image like this and you come back to Lightroom and you want to make adjustments, and you're gonna, it will work, but you're just gonna lose detail in your shot. The more adjustments you make, especially when it's overexposed like this, and you try to bring this back, you're going to have a hard time with the highlights bringing that back. So underexposed, you might, it's better to be under than over, because over you just burn the highlights, you burn the information in the shot. So you never want to get it right in camera, guys. Get the cropping right in camera too, photographers. You don't want to shoot like this and then have to adjust it later on. You lose megapixels when you adjust, crop. Every time you crop an image, you lose detail. So get the lines in focus and everything. Get the lines straight and try to have the white balance. Set your white balance to your liking, you know, while you're shooting. Props, using props. Again, this is an awesome coat hanger with the last name. And this is an example of shooting it at 1.4 here, wide open. I'm at 1.4 with the 85G lens. I wanted the name of the coat hanger in focus, and her, look how much it throws off the background with this lens. 85 millimeter of goodness, 85G. Again, using props here, and 2.5 aperture. This is a good Candid lens. Again, you know, the priest here with the ring. Get that in focus with whatever's going on in the background. I understand. I noticed that this is not the bride in the background with the bouquet. So there it is, the bride in the background. This is like feet away, a couple of feet away from the priest's hand. So throwing the background off, you know, these kind of shots might work, might not work. You know, I'm just taking them. I might use this, I might not. It's not that great of an image, but I kind of wanted to show you guys the background blur. It's a little bit overexposed, but there you go. This might make a killer black and white too. I don't know. In my opinion, she's way overexposed. She's way out of focus, too much. You want to watch this, guys, because pretty much looks like she's wearing a mask or something, you know, so that doesn't really look too good. This might end up being deleted. You know, sometimes the bokeh can make an image or break it, so this might get deleted. Here we go. Here's another example of the bride and groom out of focus with the priest holding the wine. This particular image right here, guys, you always want to see what's behind the subject you're photographing. You might find some amazing shot. You might find a mom or dad cry during a ceremony. This particular shot is, you know, I would have liked him for him to be looking at the couple. However, you know, I took a few shots, and when he started looking at the couple, the maid of honor moved and blocked his view. So, all right, again, guys, try to find meaningful props, meaningful items during the wedding. The cross, the priest holding the cross. Now take a look at the background blur here. Look at what a good job the 85 1.4G does rendering this image. And focus right on the cross, and everything else is just out of focus. You know, it's up to you guys. You know, maybe lower the exposure and maybe add a little bit of vibrance to it, or maybe, you know, less vibrance, just depending on your shooting editing style and depending on what you're after, guys. Very important. His hand, the priest's hand, the bokeh, it's really blown out of focus. It's too much, in my opinion, because it's just, in my opinion, this is a little too much bokeh. I would have liked to stop it down to like maybe 2.5 here, just so the bride is a little more in focus. Little details of the bride and groom here, capturing the moments with the 85G. Now notice, they're standing, but I'm not standing. I'm kneeling down. The level of where you're shooting can make a picture. Now, if I was standing and directly shooting this shot, it wouldn't have been the same. So I'm like, you know, I'm kneeling down, and I'm getting this from the bottom up. So that's why you see is the priest's hand and the shot from just below them with the 85G. And again, same thing, just highlighting the bride here with the priest giving his blessing here from the, you know, lovely bride here. You can just play with it in Lightroom when you're editing the image, and kind of like this to be black and white maybe. I don't know. I take several. I don't just take one, and I pick the best one. And never deliver duplicate images to your clients. It saves them, you know, space on your hard drive, guys. There's no point in delivering 10 of the same images. Okay, I'm at wide open with this lens. Now this is an image from behind, and I got the priest with holding the cross up. That was the whole effect. I wanted them in focus. A shot of the bride and groom with the priest in the background. Focus right on the crown. You can pick either or. I'm at wide open, so both of their heads are in focus. and the priest is blown out of focus. Another shot, same thing, composition wise, I wanted to get the background cross evenly as much as possible. Now with this particular shot, I would have liked to shoot it a little more underexposed, just to get the cross. You know, it's too blown out here. However, if you do that, you're going to get the foreground dark. So you want to pick and choose here. What I would do is shoot it like this and bring it up in Lightroom a little bit. But you just have to pick and choose. With this particular shot, I shot it a little bit overexposed, but to my liking, I like it. I like the shot. Okay, so a few images at the park right after the ceremony. I'll just show you a few images here, and then we'll call it a day with this video. I shoot with the 7200 at the park because of the versatility and the magic of that lens. The 85, sure, it's a great lens. However, I like to have one wide angle lens, 14 maybe, and one 7200 at the park. 7200 is my go-to for this type of situation. 7200, I want to show you just a couple images while we're talking this wedding, and make sure to get traditional pictures. Make sure to get the bride and groom. 7200, I love this lens. I love it. It's sharp. It's beautiful. Background blur, but just enough. I don't need a 1.4. A couple of other images here. Again, 7200 at 4.5. Now, we had a problem. There were a lot of people at this park location. It was great weather in San Jose, California. Everybody was out and about, enjoying the park. So we were very limited in where we could shoot. So I picked a nice spot where there were no shadows in people's faces. You don't want spots. You want them to be in shade. You don't want to shoot the couple. You don't want to shoot the group when they're under the sun, because it'll be an uncomfortable environment for everybody. You'll have people squinting, blinking. It's just a nightmare. So you want shade. Now, what do you do when you have shade in the foreground, but you have, bright sun in the background? As you can see on my settings here, this is how it was shot. And here, I'll hit reset just in case. This is how it was shot. You want to kind of have a middle ground. You really don't want to, you want to expose for the background. However, you expose for the background, you're going to have the foreground big time underexposed. So some photographers like to shoot like this and bring it up. However, in this particular situation, I want to have a good fair balance, because I really want to stay away from that HDR effect. When editing, and when you bring up the foreground too much in editing, it brings in that whole digital HDR stuff. So I rather have a background that's a little bit over, but I want to have the foreground that's a little more natural looking. So kind of have that balance. We had a great time. 7200 again. Just look at the detail. Can't ask for another better shot, given the environment. And before I move on with the next image, if you have a big bridal party, they had a big bridal party. Try to get the bridal party pictures, the group shots in and out of the way first, and then you can concentrate to the bride and groom. Again, make sure you get bride and groom shots. It's not all about having fun, screaming, picking people up and having all that, cool candid shots. Make sure you get some romantic shots, some bride and groom portraits as well. Here's a beautiful backlight coming in from the sun behind us. Here's an example of a bridal portrait with 7200 at 70 millimeters. Now look, watch what happens when you get in close. Same stance with the lens at 200. That's why I like the versatility. Watch this. Boom. What a difference that makes. You can have this. It makes a nice portrait of the bride. And you can have this focal length too. That's why I like the 7200. Look at the background blur at 3.5. And look at the sharpness at 3.5. Look at that. Spectacular. Nikon, you make beautiful lenses. Same position where she's sitting. However, I elevated myself a little bit and I wanted to shoot the bride portrait a little bit from the top. What? Look at this portrait here. Taking this picture directly where the bride is sitting, the same level. And look at this one from a little bit up on top. Both are nice. Just different, just different. I kind of cropped her a little bit off to the side with the shoulder here on the corner. Focus is right on the eyes with my 7200 2.8 VR2 lens. Who said this lens is not good. Who told you that? Yeah, it does focus breathe sometimes. It's just a magnificent piece of glass. 7200 VR2 Nikon G lens. Beautiful portrait, 2.8. You got a little bit of background blur right here on the sides. Rock and roll. And after the park, we went to the reception, took a gazillion shots. And we had a great time. Again, this is with the 7200. And, you know, reception pictures, dancing, real moments, you name it. As a photographer, you know what to capture here. I'm not going to tell you how to shoot reception pictures, stuff like that. So this is how I like to do things. This is a little bit of my thought process when shooting wedding photography with an 85mm and a 7200 in this case. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. This is my way of doing things. And every wedding is different. There is no rules to photography. There's no rules to how to use your lenses and what way to use them, cropping, whatnot. But I thought I'd share with you a little bit of my procedure, my thought process, in case you're a beginner photography, looking to do wedding photography. And this can be implemented in all types of camera gear, Canon, Fuji, Nikon. Doesn't matter if I'm showing you Nikon images. It shouldn't matter what kind of camera you use. So just go out there and rock and roll, guys. Go out there and rock and roll. Well, hopefully you got a thing or two from this video. The 3-in-1 USB-C card reader. Thank you, Katie, from VTOP Company, for sending me that. I'll put the link in the description below, or you check that out and buy it. It's pretty fast. I'm very impressed. Thank you. And also, hopefully you got a thing or two from my wedding photography tutorial using the 85mm G 1.4 Nikon lens. You know, I love weddings and I love that lens. So, you know, hopefully you got a thing or two from my explanation, tutorial, Lightroom, whatever you want to call it. And I want to thank you for watching lastly. So thank you for watching. If you like content like this, be sure to like and subscribe to Vahagraphy. This is a channel where we talk all things photography. We have a great time here. And we rock it and roll it. This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer. And if you need a fast card reader, VTOP Company, check them out. 3-in-1 card reader from Driver Genius USB-C. Rock and roll. Heads together and you guys are chilling on the disc.
Okay, so since you don't need me here,
Bring the car.
I'm gonna bring the car, exactly.
Kiss her on the cheek, Roman. Look at me when you're doing that. Look at me. Well, hello there.